Hey, what's going on, people? It is Monday, the 28th of January. I am endeavoring to listen to the morning news. It's 9 o'clock in the morning on Monday, and this is my ritual. And the world is just stone crazy. Of course, it always has been, but when I listen to the news, and I just listen to how everything is being phrased and what's going on, it's just like, whew. Thank goodness for music and art. Okay, let me do a review. Brett Harold Hart, someone who I have done some long distance work with, and I'm going to do some more work with, who is on Frets of Yore. Been talking about Frets of Yore a lot lately, and probably going to continue because it's like it's an amazing project that really needs to keep gathering steam rather than being forgotten. This is amazing. Okay. But Brett and I are doing some long distance collaborating, but he is prolific. He does a lot of stuff. So he sent me out of the blue another thing that he's been working on. And this is a thing called Hard Ambient 1. Music for Airheads by Eschaton Crater. Brett is very creative and I'd say kind of wacky, Now, my disc, unfortunately, is there's something wrong with it. It skips on all of my players, but I'm able to listen to it up to a point, so I can give you a review. So, again, you guys know I'm honest. And so here's one where it could, I got to be honest. I like what Brett Harold Hart does in general. The way this started, and I kept trying to get into the first part, was just bugging me. I wasn't getting into it, okay? It was just not gelling into anything that was holding my ears. So I decided to play it in reverse order. And that's when I really discovered that I had to play it like in several computers and players through the house before I could find one that would play it mostly without skipping. And as a result, I found, Brett is good. When you improvise and when you work with sound, there's no guarantees, you know what I'm saying? That's part of the beauty of it, But also, it's also part of how the return is. It may connect and it may not. So for me, this really didn't start to happen until number 6, Happy Dancing Skulls. Happy Dancing Skulls and Hard Ambient, number 3, towards the end is where, for my ears and for my sensibility, the work is working. It's compelling. Brett plays all kinds of things: guitars, devices, electronics, pedals, and it really is on Happy Dancing Skulls to me where it really feels like the parts are working well together. So I want to review this and say that once again, happy to be involved with Brett and the other folks in that circle. Keep it coming, Brett, because it's good stuff. Some other stuff sitting here to talk about. The Door is on its way. CD is on its way. Just give me a couple of weeks. Some stuff sitting around to talk about right quick. Let me see if I can just. Okay, see, I notice how I really do go mostly off the top of my head when I make these videos. I don't plot it out and plan it out. Someone had asked me, do I know about the band Marsupilami? I used to have that album. So foolishly sold it, but in my box of burned CDs, I know I have at least one of them burned. I was going to see if I can find it right quick, and I don't, but I'm seeing all kinds of other stuff in here burned that is cool. Metropolis. Show you a couple. Munju, Moon You can't really see that too well. This is a really fantastic progressive rock band. Album, I forget where it's from. Made in Sweden, great band and a great album. Magic River, Magic Key. These are some things that are hard to come across on vinyl. They're expensive. So Manar, McChurch, Sound Room, Delusion. So I took it upon myself to just, find these and download them and burn them. Motif. I've seen people in the BC with this album. This is beautiful guitar work. Michael Moulier from Books and Dreams. That's just a few in the M's. Here's another one. Morpheus. Rabentour. The Morini Wishful album. Some of you guys know about these records. They're really rare. Leastways rare to find in my part of the country and expensive when I see them. Let's see what else I can just show right quick. I don't have any of this on vinyl. The Canadian band Morse Code. Good progressive rock. Used to have this on vinyl and sold it. Memoriance. Et après. Mecky Markman. I think these guys are from Sweden. I know I'm going fast, but you can pause the video, if you needed to look at something and find out about it. And of course, people ask lots of questions, so ask. This is an album that's really rare. It's a pop classic, Would You Believe, by Billy Nichols. Small Faces are on there with him. Nazca. Ooh, great music. Great music. Neuschwanstein. German keyboard progressive rock. Here's one that some people, I think it's Dereck Fisher found a copy of this. I've never been able to find a copy I could afford. The original band Nirvana. The story of Simon Samopath. Simon Napier Bell, I think the big producer guy, talent agent, was in that band. Napalis. Yeah, it's tons of stuff that I wish I had, on vinyl. Really rare stuff. The Only Truth by Morley Gray. Out of Focus. Never see their records. German band. Out of Focus. Oberon. This is really good. Midsummer Night's Dream. Odin. More progressive rock. And here's one. Foolishly, I sold this. I had it and sold it. Overy Lodge, produced by Robert Fripp, Frank Perry with Keith Tippett and Roy Babington. Amazing. And I had a breakdown and sold it. Here's the original Kraftwerk, Tone Float Organization. It's been reissued many times on vinyl. I still have yet to obtain a copy. I have the music here. A lot of this stuff, More progressive rock. Pell Mell, Marburg. So there it is. Marsupilami, Arena. And I do have their other first album, whether it's the first or the second. Yeah, I absorb. Necronomicon. I've teasingly said to people, friends of mine over the years, I hoover music like a vacuum cleaner, moving gelatin plates. I am that interested. I always have been. I want to know about it all. Magical Power Mako. Strange, nondescript album cover. Recently met one of the guys from Midlake who plays with Mercury Rev. Got to see them play a private concert and meet, I forget his name. So I told him, well, I have your music. I need to pay more attention to it, and I still haven't. I need to play this. Someone asked me, do I like Maudlin the Well? There, I have this one. Part the second. And then I would also make CDs of my own, not of my own, but I'd find different pieces of music that I maybe couldn't find the whole album, so I would make just create a CD. Here's one by Mertzbo, the noise giant, the Alliance, and I just found some art and matched it up. And here's another Mertzbo where I just took some art and put together some various tracks that I found online of his that I like. I could just keep going because there's so much here. Here's another Psych album that I wish I could find. You know, it's been reissued, but I don't have it. The Mandrake Memorial. Okay. As far as actual records, this is what's kind of interesting. I'm having this record sale out of my home to friends. You know, I am not having strangers in my house. So, and it's really funny because every time people come and start looking, I take records out because I'll say, I don't want to sell that. And this happened yesterday. I had someone looking, a guitar player from Chemicals bought some records. And he bought some Duke Ellington, and then I went ahead and let go of my Otis Redding live in Europe because it's so beat, but he bought it anyway. But when we got to this one, I said, I must be out of my mind. I'm not selling this. This Otis Redding, The Dock of the Bay, someone who was taken from us too soon. There are folks who have conspiracy theories, ideas where people like this are, you know, somehow surreptitiously taken out. Who knows? But he was a force to be reckoned with and was gone too soon. This album has brought me to tears, actually, many times. And so it's really, really beat. And I think that's partially why it would end up in my mind at first in the for sale pile, is because it's in such bad shape. But I don't want to sell it. I actually like to find a good copy of it. Some records I pulled to play. Cowboys International, a new wave band from England. 79, I believe, is when this came out. Very much copying, 1979. Very much copying David Bowie. Totally trying to be the new Bowie. And the songs are pretty good, but the Bowie now, especially now, I listened to it all the way through last night. I hadn't played it probably in 20 years, easily. The Bowie affectations are a bit bugging now because it's like you can't touch Bowie. So why do you, these songs are pretty good. Just be yourself. I dare say that if Ken Lockey, the lead singer, had kept pursuing his own style, we'd still be hearing about him today. He was pretty good. Yesterday was an icon's birthday. I don't know how old he is now, but Robert Wyatt's birthday was Sunday, the 27th of January. And I just had a chance. I was so busy yesterday with things, but I finally got a chance to listen to some. This is his album, Old Rotten Hat. And there's some really melancholy. He's really good at melancholy. It's the sound of his voice, but it's also where he's coming from in a lot of his, where he's coming from with the songs. He's very politically active. He was a socialist. Has a really keen eye on human behavior that I relate to. I see a lot of things similarly to him. And that's all in this album, Old Rotten Hat. Beautiful album. Here's one that I have probably played just a bunch in the last couple of months. It's like I've rediscovered how much I love the drumming of Billy Cobham. Billy Cobham, Life and Times. I have several of his albums, but this one has just been getting a lot of play lately. His interaction with the guitar player John Scofield, because they came up way back together, so they have a real simpatico when they play together. This album kicks butt, kicks ass, butt, whatever you want. So I've played this a bunch of times recently. Soft Verdict, out of Belgium. It was led by composer Wim Mertens. Beautiful, almost classical. Some pieces sound a lot like the way Philip Glass writes. This is beautiful. Struggle for Pleasure. Hadn't played this in a while, and ended up playing this a couple times. It's beautiful. On the wonderful label Le Disque du Crépuscule, a label that if I could afford to, I would collect. Played one of these, the Love, Peace, and Poetry series. This is the American Psychedelic. This is a great series. I don't have all of them. I've got maybe half of the... Michelangelo's Oceans of Fantasy song in here is a real standout and a very hard to find album if you can. Super Silent from the Netherlands possibly, or somewhere in Europe. Improvisation based, jazz based, but not far beyond it. This group is so unique that I was listening to this and I kept wondering what I'm listening to, because every other thing they do, it sounds like a completely different ensemble. From krautrock sounds to jazz sounds to space electronics to drone. Incredible, really. Super Silent. Thomas Jerku, Sequins, minimal techno. And I have to be in the mood for this. It is the sort of thing that but the way this music really works is in an altered state, probably in a club or somewhere. And yeah, but this is good. Really minimal electronic techno. A pop album that I found years ago and was hoping it would be more psych. Jim and Dale, 96%. 86% of us. This is pop music from the 60s. A lot of string arrangements, kind of like Burt Bacharach, Howell David wannabes. There's a couple of nice tracks on here but it's not psych, it's more pop. But it's interesting enough that I'm keeping it. There's actually several instrumental interludes. They do a couple of Leonard Cohens on here. But no, this is not psychedelic. It's more pop. But it's a keeper. If you see it, check it out. Super Sister from the Netherlands, Dutch band. This is one of the last albums they made as Super Sister. Sweet OK Super Sister, Spiral Staircase. Robert Jan Stips led the band. They were, in the beginning, I would say very much influenced by Soft Machine. But they go on to create their own sound. This, to me, is cinematic. I can hear this album being done as a musical, a Broadway musical. And I dare say that since this was made, something has been done with this music in a theatrical setting. Really excellent. 74. From the Lounge Lizard, Steve Piccolo. Steve Piccolo's Domestic Exile. Someone gave this to me. I liked the cover, and when I first played it, I didn't like it at first and just put it away. So I recently pulled this out, and it's still kind of a slow burner, but I get it now. There is a kind of angular, quirky quality to the compositions here. If you know the Lounge Lizards, there is a similarity to the sound. And I like this. I do. It's like the singing. I think the singing gets to me a little bit. Like I said, if you know the Lounge Lizards, that's a comparison. I could go forever, but I'm going to just stop here. Hadn't played this forever. David Sylvian's first solo album, Brilliant Trees. This is brilliant. If you know it, it's special. It's special. His aesthetic is high quality and intelligent. Speaking of intelligence, the reason why I haven't said anything lately about politics is because it's really feudal. The one thing that I really recognize real strong now is that one of the things that keeps happening and will happen, but really is senseless to happen, especially nowadays, is for us common people to be fighting amongst each other. And we're arguing and fighting amongst each other constantly about things that don't matter, some things that do. So rather than get on here and talk about politics, which is really galvanizing and polarizing right now, I'll just say that about it. It's like, my thought is, I wish there were more people trying to use wise mind and become more aware of the fact that you know, why are we fighting each other? Why are we hating on each other? Just because he thinks green is better than blue, and she thinks that going downwind is better than going upwind, and this person likes channel 5 and this other person likes channel 10, and we fight about this stuff. We kill each other over this stuff. While the greedy, smart people who've had the advantage for a long time historically just keep robbing, just take everything. They just have everything. That's why we keep talking about this 1/10 of 1/10%. You know, they keep us idiots squabbling with each other while they just make bank and just, huh. And it's at the point now where, well, they got everything. It's like they don't have to listen to us. Never did, really, you know. But they own everything. How? What can we do? You know, it's like they're, you know, we think we have a voice. Shut down the stores. You know, turn off the ATMs. Watch this place fall apart. And yet most people don't see that at all. And so we just have our heads down in the bowl of shit, arguing and fighting and hurting one another, when we have all the reasons in the world to look past our differences and really try to bring bring this baby home. And just, you know, it's happened historically. I know it has, you know. I know that mankind's done better. So that's why I haven't said much, because this is what I will say, and that's what I said. It's like, I can see the potential of humanity, but we're circling the drain right now. So that's why I'm so happy for music and art, my favorite things, rather than sports. Sports really, I see sports as, you get to a point where you're really mindless. Whereas with music and art, you can still be engaged. That's what I say. Okay.